Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to really get into the source material, pull it apart, and see what makes it tick.
Yeah, and today we're tackling destiny. Big topic.
Huge. We've got sources talking about these intense love stories, spanning decades, different worlds. It suggests maintaining these connections, these loves supposedly lasting until the end of time, requires, well, basically turning your whole life upside down.
Exactly. And we're looking at the cost of that. The sources give us two main pairings. Bill and Jenny, starting in 1975, and then Robert and Lillibet almost 40 years later in 2013. And we're trying to figure out what people actually have to give up for this kind of fated love. It's not just sacrifice. It's asking if the universe gives you a second shot if the first one ends badly.
And the settings are just worlds apart. We go from high fashion in 1970s New York City, very glamorous, very intense,
Right.
all the way to a small town ministry in Wyoming. And then boom, we jump to today, 2013, an old order Amish farm girl meets a Manhattan book publisher.
Talk about culture clash.
Seriously. So the question is, what's the real cost of destiny? What do these huge shifts demand from people?
Okay, let's start with Bill and Jenny. 1975. This is really a story about gas, isn't it?
Absolutely. You have Jenny Arden. She comes from, well, basically nothing. Her mom was a seamstress, friend, worked in a sweatshop on the Lower East Side. Her dad, a coal miner in Pennsylvania, died in an accident. But Jenny, by the 70s, she's carved out this amazing career. Style director, consultant, worked at Vogue under Diana Vreeland, in Muse for designers. She is high fashion.
But that success, that self-made aspect, that's exactly what Bill Sweet's family couldn't stand. Bill's background, pure blue blood, Manhattan elite, working for the family law firm, tax lawyers, prestigious stuff.
Right.
But he felt, well, bored. Kind of lost, actually.
Yeah.
He eventually finds his path in the Episcopal ministry.
Right.
Gets his Master's of Divinity at Columbia.
So the clash must have been immediate. 1970s New York social register versus, coal miner's daughter. How bad was the rejection?
Oh, it was brutal. Total rejection. The sources are clear. Bill's family saw her background as a crime. Literally, the marriage, a tragedy.
Wow.
Yeah, because she wasn't in the social register, not one of them. They just never, ever accepted her. It was a wall she couldn't climb, no matter her success.
And Bill's reaction, he didn't just push back, he blew things up.
Completely. He quits the family firm. His family calls him psychotic, dishonorable, but he walks away. For his calling, yes, but also very much for Jenny. He sacrifices his whole background, his inheritance, really.
And that choice has immediate, tough consequences. He needs a church, right?
Right. And he looks for 9 months. The only offers he gets are way out there. Rural Kentucky, Moose, Wyoming.
Moose, Wyoming.
Yeah. And initially, he turns them down. He's trying to protect Jenny's career. She's got this thriving consulting business in New York. She's the top of her game.
It's a real dilemma.
Yeah.
His spiritual path needs him out of the city, but her career needs her in the city.
Exactly. And that's where Jenny makes this just incredible sacrifice. She sees Bill giving up, actually considering going back to tax law, which he hated.
Oh, no.
And she steps in. She basically says, no way, we're going to Wyoming. She gives up everything. 14 years building that career, the world she conquered, gone. For a rectory in Moose, all for Bill's calling.
So she trades Fashion Week for church potlucks.
Pretty much. But she applies her skills, her magic, as the source calls it. She organizes these amazing potluck lunches that become huge community events. And she sees the need, the sort of hidden despair in town.
Like what?
Well, alcoholism was a big problem. Domestic issues, too. So she starts AA and Al-Anon groups. Really uses her organizational skills for service.
That's amazing. She even starts a teenage group focused on style.
Yeah, but it quickly became about more than fashion. It turned into this safe space for girls to talk about, real issues. Birth control, drugs, social pressures. She was using her talents in this totally new context.
But it wasn't all positive community building, was it? The sources mention a darker side.
No, definitely not. It gets pretty dark. There's the story of Debbie Blackman. Jenny recognized she was a victim of domestic abuse. Her husband, Tony, a bartender.
Okay.
So Jenny takes action. She drives Debbie and her 4 kids 8 hours across Wyoming to Cheyenne to her sister's place. A real mission of mercy.
Wow. That's intense. Leaving the glamour of NYC for that kind of raw, dangerous situation.
Exactly. It shows the real stakes of Bill's choice, not just for him, but for her. And tragically, Debbie eventually went back to Tony.
And he killed her.
Yeah. Threw her down the stairs. Jenny carried that guilt, that sense of responsibility as part of the cost of that ministry life.
And their personal life had its own heartbreaks, too. They struggled with fertility.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Jenny had a dangerous ectopic pregnancy, lost a baby boy,
Right.
then a later miscarriage. They were looking into adoption eventually.
There was a connection with a girl named Lucy.
Yes, Lucy Arden, a 14-year-old in the community who got pregnant. Bill and Jenny were planning to adopt her baby. It shows their commitment, building a family despite everything.
So they're finally finding their place, building this life, committed to adoption.
Right when things seem to be settling, tragedy strikes again. Bill's out visiting someone on horseback, gets caught in a flash flood, killed instantly.
Oh, my God.
And gets worse. Just 4 days later, Jenny, she's driving to see Lucy, the young mother at the adoption home. She dies in a terrible car crash.
Both of them. Just like that.
Yeah. And the source explicitly says they were meant to be together forever.
It's chilling. It almost feels like the narrative is saying their love, their sacrifice. Maybe it was too much for this world.
Or maybe it wasn't finished. That phrase forever feels key, like their story needed more.
That's the exact question, isn't it? Was that loss the end, or was it setting up something else? A required step for a cosmic do-over.
Okay, so Bill and Jenny paid the ultimate price. Let's jump forward. 40 years. 2013, Robert and Lillibet. Different kind of barrier here, right? Not class, but culture. Deep culture.
Deep is right. Lillibet Peterson, she's 24. Old Order Amish in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Follows the Ordnung strictly.
No electricity, no phones, no cars, plain dress. The whole 9 yards. Her life is duty. She's been caring for her father, a church elder, very stern man, and her 3 younger brothers. Ever since her mother was killed in a school shooting 7 years before.
That's a heavy burden. And Robert Bellagio.
Complete opposite. Grew up privileged, Harvard, Columbia Business School, runs his own publishing house in Manhattan, Bellagio Press. He's driven, looking for that breakout bestseller.
So how on earth did these two even connect?
It's an incredible story, a secret act of rebellion. Lillibet, she secretly wrote a book, 12 notebooks.
Wow.
She delivers milk to a non-Amish neighbor, Joe Latimer. He knew her mother, wants to help her. She wraps the manuscript in her mother's old linen apron, gives him an address she found in some book for a New York publisher, and asks him to mail it. Blindly.
Just sends it out into the void.
Pretty much. And it lands on Robert's desk. He reads it. He's absolutely captivated. He offers her a deal. $25,000 advance, 15% royalty.
Which to Lillibet must sound like monopoly money.
Oh, completely alien. She's never even seen a car up close before this, let alone dealt with banks or contracts. But she trusts him.
So Robert goes down there to Amish country.
He does. Drive down to meet her, and the culture shock is immediate. He has to take her in his car, her first time ever, just to open a bank account.
I can't even imagine.
And the source material really focuses on these little details, showing her trying to process the English world. She's amazed by the simplest things, like a zipper on Robert's jacket.
A zipper.
Yeah. She compares it to the safety pins she uses on her own clothes. And flush toilets. These basic modern things are totally new and fascinating.
That zipper detail is perfect, isn't it?
It really is. It symbolizes everything. The simplicity and conformity of her world versus the complexity, the speed, the consumerism, maybe, of his world. That small detail bridges the huge gap she's trying to cross.
But crossing that gap has massive risks. Her father finds out.
Oh, yeah. Henry Gaystick, the father. He's furious. Demands she withdraw the book. Demands she marry a local widower, Klaus Mueller, who's 50 and has 5 kids.
Oh, wow. And the alternative?
He threatens her with shunning, being completely cut off, expelled from the community, her family, everyone she's ever known. Social death, basically.
Yet she still goes to New York.
Amazingly, yes. She agrees to go for 1 week to edit the book. She works with Robert's editor, Mary Paxton, who happens to be pregnant with twins, another little life detail, and she explores the city with Robert. Empire State Building, Central Park.
And they're falling for each other?
Deeply. Robert loves her, it's clear. But he holds back. He understands the cost for her, the threat of shunning. He respects her innocence, her commitment to her world, even as she's stepping out of it.
But she goes back home after the week.
She does. And her father. No, he makes good on his threat. He's enraged she went, that she defied him. He physically throws her out of the house.
Throws her out. Just like that.
Just like that.
She's desperate. She calls the limo driver who brought her back from the city. But the driver, he'd been drinking.
Yep. Yeah. On the way back towards, well, away from home,
Yeah.
they get into this horrific head-on collision on the New Jersey Turnpike. Catastrophic.
Like Jenny, a car crash.
A devastating one. Lillibet ends up in a hospital in New Brunswick, coma, severe head injuries, and she's admitted as a Jane Doe.
Why Jane Doe?
Because her father, assuming she'd just run off to the English world after he threw her out, never reported her missing. So for 6 days, she's unidentified, alone, hovering between life and death in this world she risked everything for.
This is where Robert steps back in, I assume.
He does. This is where the devotion kicks in. He frantically searches for her, finds her, rushes to the hospital. He stays by her side for 2 weeks while she's in the coma.
Doing what?
Talking to her, constantly telling her he loves her, until the end of time.
There it is again, that exact phrase.
Exactly. The same promise. And this time, maybe, it works differently. His dedication, seeing his daughter near death, finally breaks through Henrik's anger and rigidity.
How does Henrik even find out?
Joel Latimer, the neighbor who mailed the manuscript. He acts as the go-between. He tells Henrik what happened, tells him about Robert's vigil, and Henrik, faced with losing her completely, relents. He ends the shunning. He gives them his blessing to marry. The near tragedy actually becomes the key to reconciliation.
Okay, so the immediate crisis is averted. But then there's the connection back to the first story, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The destiny link. While Lillibet is recovering, she tells Robert about her experience during the coma. She saw people, a man on horseback and a woman with dark hair.
Bill and Jenny.
She describes them perfectly. She says they told her she had to come back, and then she adds this crucial line. They were us, but they looked different.
Wow, so the connection is explicit.
Absolutely explicit. The source basically says the intense, tragic love of Bill and Jenny wasn't wasted. It wasn't the end. It somehow paved the way, maybe even guaranteed, this second chance for Robert and Lillibet.
And they get their happy ending.
They do. They marry. And interestingly, Henry, the father, marries Lillibet's friend Marguerite shortly after. A bit of healing all around.
And the book.
The book gets published, it's a success, and the dedication. It lists 9 children.
9. So they built that big family the Lillibet maybe thought she didn't want when she was younger.
Seems like it. Beatrix, Trevor, Todd, Nick, Sam, Victoria, Vanessa, Max, and Zara. Full circle. The story ends with Robert and Lillibet watching 2 bright stars drift across the sky and disappear together. That sense of destiny fulfilled.
Okay, so pulling it all together, we've seen 2 incredibly intense stories. Both show that this idea of destiny, this deep connection, it's not gentle. It demands radical change, a total reinvention.
Yeah, Bill had to shed his entire identity, his birthright, to become a minister out west. Lillibet had to break from her entire culture, her past, her family, to become a writer living in the modern world. The relationship itself forced the transformation.
It's fascinating how the relationship was the catalyst for everything. It wasn't just a factor, it seems like it was the factor driving these massive life changes.
Absolutely. Jenny swapping the chaos of New York Fashion Week for, AA meetings in Moose. Lillibet trading the quiet, ordered rhythm of the farm for the intensity of Manhattan publishing. They didn't just compromise. They fundamentally altered their realities for the connection.
So it leaves us with a question for you, listening. We've seen these characters sacrifice core parts of their identity, class, vocation, culture, community, all apparently in the name of a destined love. What about you? Is there a part of your identity, your life, your world that you would absolutely refuse to compromise? Even if refusing meant walking away from a connection that felt powerful, maybe even felt like destiny. What's your non-negotiable?